Long ago, this land was marked not by death, but by something more profound. A thinning between worlds. A mourning of the boundary between the living and the dead. And from that rift emerged what scholars now refer to as the funeral of shadows. A moment when the shadows we cast began casting themselves. A final resting place that doesn't always rest. Not merely a graveyard, but a boundary where the living and the dead occasionally brush shoulders. And thus, Alouette Cemetery was born.
Alouette Cemetery wasn't built all at once. It's taken 5 years to get to where we are today. It began as a bunch of cool ideas, mechanisms that animate skeletons, structures that create atmosphere, but it was all one build at a time.
Enthusiastic chaos.
Over time, those pieces started to feel like something more than props. They started to feel like characters.
With absolutely no supervision.
And then we started to ask bigger questions. What is this place? Who are these characters? And how did they end up here? So a couple years ago, I wrote The Legend of Alouette Cemetery, a backstory that connected them all. And once every character had a story, the art stopped being a decoration. It became a world.
At last, some continuity.
But something was missing.
Some might call it leadership.
No, presence. People don't experience legend on a website. They experience it while visiting the cemetery itself. So this year, we created a host.
A necessary refinement.
We wanted him to entertain our guests, to give the voice to the story. Unfortunately, he doesn't always like to share the spotlight.
Well, standards must be maintained.
So once the lights come on, Reggie doesn't just sit there. He tells the story. He watches, he comments, and he narrates the world around him. He particularly hates the pumpkins.
The infamous harvest howlers, Alouette Cemetery's pride and joy. Yes, I saw you there gathered round those insipid little gourds. The vegetables have somehow become the stars of the evening, and I'm treated like background decor at a garden centre. And then there's Silas Wraithmore, the croucher, though I call him Miley Silas, the twerker. Nothing says eternal torment quite like rotting to the beat of K-pop. He's the cemetery's answer to TikTok. I die nightly. Oh look, Pierre Caboo over on the south lawn, the prankster. Pops out from behind tombstones, flashes a grin, and the crowd howls. Marvelous. Eternity reduced to a jump scare. And thus, Alouette Cemetery was born, not merely a graveyard, but a boundary, where the living and the dead occasionally brush shoulders. It only appears when the veil thins, once each year in October, when shadows and mortals are permitted this awkward reunion.
So that's just a sample. 1 yard, many stories. 45 minutes of dialogue woven into the experience.
Exhausting, really.